19 handicap with a very interesting move. Areas of focus are general ball striking and more distance. Now, looking at the setup, most can tell that there's not much knee flex or bend from the waist, which will have you standing up rather tall from your setup position, and a narrow stance does not help with the power that you are looking to gain in your golf swing. So instead of narrating through with a path line, I'm instead going to just keep that spine angle and knee flex line there as we watch your takeaway. Interesting move number one is that your hips are turning open in the backswing at the same rate that your hands are drawing the club back. Now, there's not much power or coil going on when that's the case. The X factor separation is how much shoulder turn against how much hip turn you have, and that's generally noted for power. A reduced hip turn against a heavy or high shoulder turn will usually result in more potential speed. When your hips are turned open more than your shoulders are at this point, you have a negative X factor, which does not give you much potential power. So I'll get more into that if we need to. Club shaft, plane, face, actually okay. Shaft is a little inside of the path, but the face angle has lined up somehow perfectly to the spine angle that you were set up on. Now that angle isn't right, as you should be bent over more from your setup with more knee and hip flex, but it is what it is. You've managed to keep the face square relative to you as you continue up to the top. Since you've already turned your body, your hands don't really have anywhere to go but up. And that's exactly what happens as your trail elbow lifts. And, you know, after all is said and done, if you don't look at the backswing and just see this top position, it looks like someone who just turned their hips a bit much and got their hands high. However, the interesting move number two is how much knee flex you do in your P4 to 5 transition. Now, this move is the prelude to the jump. What happens when you jump? You flex your knees and then you jump. Here we go. Let's play it through. Flex the knees. Boom. There's a jump. So you're using ground forces to try to generate speed, and yeah, that can get you somewhere, but that leads to early extension of the spine and a lot of inconsistencies with your contact or low point. So there's a million ways to begin with this, but I would start from the very beginning with the basics of your setup. Begin with a wider stance, more flex in the knees, and most importantly, kick the butt out with more bend from the waist. Now, it will be your mission to try to maintain the posture there the same way that you've maintained your posture in the backswing. But one of the benefits that you will gain from bending over from your setup position is that your shoulders will tilt more down to the ball and you'll be able to retain your swing path much more consistently. When you're upright as you are, your shoulder plane is very flat, and then the shaft plane can really just go anywhere based on where your hands and arms want to travel from here. The ideal position as you begin to then work on your downswing, this only comes after you've worked on your first two items of setup and then shoulder tilt, would be to try to then invert your tilt, keeping your right shoulder working more down, left shoulder clears up and away, and that should be what allows you to maintain your tilt through impact. Now, that last bit is a bit of rambling and unnecessary. Go with your setup changes and then start working on other things as you make changes to your starting position. Good luck. SendASwing.com.